DaVinci Resolve and I can show you how I get looks. Alright, so first we're going to introduce a clip. If I can only remember how to do that, I'm not gonna show you guys that. Alright, so first things first, I like to clean up my clip. So we're going to introduce an adjustment layer on a different channel. We're going to extend it over the length of our clip. And the next thing I'm going to do is add a grid. The reason for this is so I'm able to ensure that my water level is straight and it's not leaning or slanted or anything like that. So let's hop into the open effects and I'm going to make sure I have just the horizontal line. And also I like to kind of make this thin. So let's just take it down. And also opacity. Alright, so on our clip I can see already that we have the left hand side is a little bit higher than the right hand side, so I'm just going to fix that real quick. Alright, that was a quick and easy fix. Moving on, next we want to look at our framing. I don't know what your project settings or what your camera is capable of, but if you like me are using DaVinci Resolve and you're shooting a Blackmagic camera, there are a number of settings I want to just show you so you know exactly how I go about this. So image, master settings, 1080p timeline, color management, make broadcast safe needs to be checked, camera raw, Blackmagic raw, all's good in the hood. Moving on, now I want to fix these letter boxes that I introduced because of the resolution I shot in by zooming in. So we're just going to zoom in until that disappears. Alright, that looks pretty okay, but after I zoomed in I further realized that my level is not as I would like it to, so let's adjust that a little bit. Alright, perfect. Now I'm going to hop into this and just eyeball what it currently looks like. I'm going to pick a frame I like. Let's pick a frame where we have some sharp elements. Okay, this is a good frame. On this frame I want to ensure that I have my levels for composition purposes at an area where I think that makes it a lot more visually appealing. So let's adjust. Since I already zoomed in, I have room at the top and then the bottom to move things around a little bit. So I'm going to move this way. Alright, that looks good. Alright, I would say there's nothing else to do as long as all that's left is to cut the clips to find the cinematic part, which is going to take some time. Okay, alright, let's hop into color and look for how to make this look even nicer. So it's always best to shoot in a log profile if you can manage, because the log profile gives you more range to be able to adjust things. So I'm going to pull up my scopes here on the left and I'm going to go into my project settings, clip, check on highlight recovery. I'm going to do a color space transform because I like working in the Alexa color space. So I was showing Blackmagic Pocket 4K and I'm going to take that to the array log space. Okay, now it's revealed some things with my framing, like over here at the top. So if I just move my Y position, yeah, I got rid of it. Okay, and we're back. So here I'm just gonna label this so we are neat. Let's call it space transform. Add a new node. I'm going to name this node noise reduction NR. Add another node. I'm going to name this one contrast and saturation. And sat. Another node. I'm going to name this curves. And my final node I will name sharpening. That's the node that I'll be applying all my sharpening. So let's start with contrast. Contrast, I don't do much. I'm just gonna drop it to use video black level. But if you don't have this feature in if you don't have raw capacity, you probably want to hop into your color wheel and then do this instead and get your black level to that level. I just find it's easier for me to use this. Use video black level. Alright, and that flattens out everything in the shadows so they're touching 0, and that works for me. Alright, saturation. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to raise my saturation until the colors start to look very vivid. Alright, I'd say that's pretty vivid. Curves. I used curves to introduce more light or dark in certain areas, but since I already have used the black level, I'm going to use the curves to increase the highlights instead. Alright, that's looking good. Now let's go into our noise reduction so we can clean things up. So I can see right here, I can see a lot of reds and things that are about to sabotage my image. And to reduce noise, I'm going to go into the motion effects and unlink the chain and raise my luma until some of that starts to disappear. I'm not trying to get rid of my water droplets, and raise this one up until the red starts to disappear. So this isn't a skin tone shot, so I have more room to be able to manipulate things. That's already beginning to look good. Oh yeah. Alright, so finally I'm going to hop into my sharpening and go into the sharpening tab. And this is set to blur. I'm just going to set to sharpen and move this down. I'm going to zoom in so I can see what's going on with my sharpening. The sharpening radius. That's the extreme. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, it looks cartoonish. Yep, so let's be reasonable. Going to go to 45. Yep, that looks pretty edgy and vivid at the same time. Perfect. Alright, so let's go back to our timeline. If it would only cooperate. Okay. Alright, let's watch some playback so we can fine tune things. Oh, that's amazing. take this frame back a little. From a composition standpoint, I want to look at what's contributing to that. What does the grid look like? So go for 3. And here, let's go for 3. Okay, so, oh yeah, it's at the intersection, which is a nice place you want your image to be. And it's also rolling across one of the lines. And it's also in focus and sharp. So that's great. Alright, let's look for another frame. There are a number of frames here that are good. That's good. That is very good. Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, alright, so all that's left is for me to cut these up. And I just use my razor blade and trim these up until I have useful stuff. Okay, but final note, another thing I have noticed is most of my bubbles are falling from the right hand side towards the left. From a composition standpoint, we read from left to right, so it would make sense if I flipped that the other way. So my bubbles are falling, forward. And that rolling effect we had earlier. Oh no. Okay, so I guess it's not as I thought. Oh, in this situation it is. So cut your clips and make sure if you have things moving in your frame, they're moving from left to right. Just makes things a lot easier to watch. And another thing I have noticed just watching this clip is my water level. It's no longer straight. So now I need to fix that. Alright, now we've come to the end of this tutorial. If you have any comments or questions, leave a message for me in the comment section, and I will leave a link to all the things I used in the description, just in case you wanted to reproduce this, and also some details about my camera and settings and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.